Okay, today we're going to do some rearranging of formulae. Sometimes this is called changing the subject of the formula, but it's the same thing. So I've got 6 different formulae here, and each time I want to make x the subject. At the moment, the x is somewhere in the formula, but I want to make it the subject, so it's going to end up with x equals something. Sometimes this is called writing x in terms of y, but once again that just means the same thing. So the first one, y equals 7x. I want to end up with x on its own. So these are very similar skills we use as when we're solving linear equations. I need to think about what's going on. That means 7 times x. So I need to undo that multiplied by 7. So I need to divide by 7. And as when we're talking about linear equations, I always need to do the same to both sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to divide by 7. Divide both sides by 7. So I get y over 7 equals x. Already, just one stage, I've made x the subject because I've got x on its own. Some people say x should always be on the left, but it doesn't actually matter. X can be on the left or the right. So they are exactly the same thing. So this one, I've got y equals 7 plus x. So I've added 7 to the x. So to undo that, I've got to take 7 away from both sides. So I get y minus 7 equals x, or if you prefer, x equals y minus 7. With this one, there's going to be an extra stage here. Y equals 2x plus 1. So with the x, I've multiplied it by 2, and then I've added 1. The order is very, very important. You've got to work in reverse order. So here, like I say, I've multiplied it by 2 and then add 1. So the first thing I need to undo is this adding 1 by taking 1 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I'm dividing the whole of that left hand side by 2. And I'm going to leave the x on this side this time. So y minus 1 over 2 equals x. Make sure that it's all divided by the 2. This one with a squared, the opposite, the inverse process of squaring something would be to square root it. So this time, square root of y would equal x, because I've done the square root of both sides. And if you prefer, x equals square root of y. This one's actually got 3 stages to it. If you think what's happened to the 4, it's if you think what's happened to the x, it's x multiplied by 4, and then take a 2, and then square root it. So I've got to work back in the opposite order. So the first thing I'm going to do, the opposite of square rooting, is square both sides. The opposite of minus 2, the inverse of minus 2, is going to be adding 2 to both sides. And the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I get x equals y squared plus 2 over 4. Don't try and rush these, make sure you're doing it step by step. The final one, I'm going to do 2 different ways because it does throw up an extra little problem. So I'll do it the way we've been thinking about. So this is y equals 6 minus 5x. So I've got an x, it's multiplied by negative 5 and then 6 added. So I need to take away the 6 first. So y take 6 equals negative 5x. Make sure you leave that negative on there. It's very easy to forget about that. Then I'm going to divide by negative 5. So I get y minus 6 all over negative 5 equals x. And that's absolutely fine doing it that way, but make sure you don't forget this negative. If you're worried about this negative, another way of doing this is to change it, rearrange it before you start, and to add 5x to both sides. If I add 5x to both sides of this formula, I get 5x plus y equals 6, because I've added the 5x to both sides. And that makes this 5x positive, which some people prefer working with. And then I take away a y from both sides, so I get 6 minus y, and then I divide through by 5 So I get 6 minus y over 5. Now you may think I've got a different formula here, but actually mathematically they are exactly the same, so either one of those is fine. The process is to take it step by step by doing the inverse operation in the reverse order.